Christine Persichetti, the sanctity of a Williamsburg house of worship was restored over the weekend. Brooklyn Bishop Robert Brennan presided over a Mass of Reparation at Annunciation of the Blessed Virgin Mary on Saturday. A provocative music video was filmed at the church. Current News' Jessica Easthope tells us more.
Holy water used in the reconsecration of Annunciation of the Blessed Virgin Mary Church in Williamsburg. The house of worship was a location for a provocative music video by Sabrina Carpenter. The video, released online last week, shows Carpenter scantily clad dancing around the altar, which had sacrilegious props on it, like fake coffins, crosses, and vessels with fake blood. On Saturday, Bishop Robert Brennan celebrated a Mass of Reparation at the church in order to restore sanctity and repair the harm done. As a result, Monsignor Jamie Gigantiello, the pastor of Our Lady of Mount Carmel Annunciation Parish, has been removed as the Diocese of Brooklyn's Vicar for Development, a role in which he oversaw fundraising efforts for the Catholic Foundation for Brooklyn and Queens. Monsignor Gigantiello will remain as the parish's pastor, but Auxiliary Bishop Witold Mrzewski has taken over duties as administrator. At another Mass at the parish on Saturday, Monsignor Gigantiello read a letter to his parishioners saying in part, quote, "While I take full responsibility for the erroneous decision to allow the filming, I want to assure you that I had no knowledge that such a scene would be filmed in our church, which we worked so hard to restore to its present sacred beauty. I further affirm that a lapse in judgment such as this will never take place again, as I fully devote my every action to preserving the sanctity of the parish and faith community with which I am entrusted, as I have done over my 7 years as pastor here at Our Lady of Mount Carmel Annunciation." Bishop Robert Brennan strongly condemned the filming of the music video and says a review of the documents presented to the parish prior to filming clearly portrays inappropriate behavior for a church. The diocese is also conducting a further administrative review into the matter.
That was Jessica Easthope reporting. In light of the events, Monsignor Gigantiello said money the church received for the filming of the music video is being donated to Bridge Women's Support Center. You could read more about this story online at thetablet.org. Turning now to the New York City Marathon. Tens of thousands took part in the annual pilgrimage across the 5 boroughs on Sunday.
There you go, just like that. On your mark.
Runners hit the streets for a 26.2-mile trek throughout the Big Apple. A marathoner from Ethiopia won the men's race, crossing the finish line in less than 2 hours and 5 minutes. On the women's side, a runner from Kenya ran away with the title, finishing the race in just under 2 hours and 28 minutes. And while he didn't win the race, one marathoner from Long Island still accomplished his goal. He raised more than $50,000 for a cause close to his heart. Here to tell us his story is Pat Kellachan. Hi, Pat.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Thanks so much for being here. How are you feeling?
A little sore. A little sore.
I would think so. All right, you took part in your first ever marathon to raise awareness and money for AEDs in schools. So tell us, out of all the causes you could have chosen, why that one?
Well, last year my son collapsed during basketball practice and he suffered what's known as a SCA, sudden cardiac arrest. Fortunately, he was in a gym that had 2 coaches and a trainer present, and more importantly, an AED. So these guys recognized the gravity of the situation quickly. They grabbed the AED. They detected that he had no pulse, he wasn't breathing, and they had multiple cycles of the AED. Between 8 and 10 minutes, he was. They did not have a pulse. They got it though.
Wow, it totally saved his life.
Saved his life.
And now AEDs are required in every school in New York State, and they're easy enough for people to use, or they're supposed to be, that you don't need training. But your money will go toward more AEDs and formal training. Why?
Yes. So how this idea came about was, I ran into the AD at Chaminade High School, and I was like, I want to do something. I was running the New York City Half Marathon back in March. I was like, I want to do something. Maybe I can raise some money for the school or something. And he said, man, don't worry about it. And then 2 months later, I get a call saying, hey, guess what? You're doing New York City Marathon. You're raising some money for Chaminade. I was like, okay, terrific.
Great.
And it really kind of just took a life of its own. But yeah, because of the success of this and the raise, we've identified a number of schools. Chaminade's identified a number of schools, Catholic schools in Nassau and Suffolk County, that they will, provide, AEDs for.
Oh, that's amazing. All right, so much good work. Pat Kellachan, New York City Marathon runner, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, for more information on how to donate to Pat's cause, just go to our website, currentsny.tv. A beloved St. John's University professor recently finished his first full marathon. For him, it was an important item to cross off his bucket list after a casual jog 2 years before led to a health scare that ended up saving his life. Currents News' Katie Vasquez has more from Jamaica, Queens.
One of Brian Brown's favorite pastimes is going for a jog. He does it casually, getting in his steps whenever he can. But around 2 years ago, Brian noticed something strange about a mile into his normal jog.
I get chest pains like I've never felt before, like literally someone reaching in and squeezing my chest. So I tried walking it off, I tried shaking it off.
It wasn't until he developed shingles that Brian went to the doctor. He mentioned the chest pain, and what happened next saved his life.
I got the angiogram the very next day. It demonstrated that there was major blockage in at least 3 of my arteries. And the day after, I had quintuple bypass heart surgery.
Dr. Robert Brennan of the St. Roch Center in Chicago says Brian was lucky that the doctors caught the blockage in time.
It's a silent killer. And the first heart attack is the worst because there's like 40% of people don't survive their first heart attack.
What do you think?
After that scare, the St. John's University professor decided to make a change, to eat better and exercise more. Running a full marathon was always on Brian's bucket list, and after months of training, he made his dream come true on October 22nd, completing the Catholic Health Suffolk County Marathon in more than 4 hours.
There's nothing like it, crossing the finish line and the crowd, the support from the crowd, but also that inner personal satisfaction is something that long after the crowd goes away that, hey, I ran a marathon. That's pretty cool.
It is an achievement Brian doesn't take for granted.
I was lucky, and I consider myself blessed that, I had this event, but, it could have had a much different ending than it did.
In Jamaica, Katie Vasquez, Currents News.
Congrats to Brian. And that is this Currents News Update. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us because we are putting your faith in the news. Hope to see you again next time.